Hello everyone, in this video I'll be solving Cambridge IGCSE Information and Communication Technology, Paper 3, May-June 2025, Variant 3.2. You have been supplied with the following source files. These are the files. I have copied the files into a working folder here. You will assist Avara Racing to analyze data about performance when testing its racing cars. Task 1, evidence document. We need to prepare the evidence document. Make sure your candidate details will appear on every page of this document, and you need to save this as P32 evidence flowed by your center number and candidate number. So let's open a Word document. Insert header. Give your name, center number, and candidate number. Now save this file inside your working folder as P32 evidence followed by your center number and candidate number. We'll be using this file to place the screenshots needed during the task. Task 2, spreadsheet. So in this video, we'll be solving spreadsheet. Open and examine the file j25fuelmix.csv. Open the file. Place in the header test performed on and followed by a space, the date, automated date, a space, then the text at, followed by a space, and then the time. So this is our required file. You can make sure all the data are visible. Just click at this corner and double click so that all the data will be visible. So go to insert, header and footer. Now in the header you have to place this test performed on, and then the date and time. Alignment is not given, so we can place it in the right. A space, then you can insert the date, current date, then a space, the word at, then space, current time. Place left aligned in the footer the text test by followed by a space, then your name, candidate number, and center number. So on the left side, space, give your name, center number, and candidate number. So the header and footer is ready. You can close this view. Click on view, go to normal view. Save this spreadsheet as fuel data followed by your center number and candidate number. So you can save this with this name. So file, save as fuel data followed by your center number and candidate number. Make sure it is saved as Excel workbook. Save. Merge cells A1 to F1. Format this merge cell with black 40 point serif font on yellow background. So A1 to F1. Merge and center. It should be 40 point serif. So make sure it is Times New Roman. Background is yellow and black text. Merge cells A3 to B3 and A11 to B11. A3 to B3, A11 to B11. Format these merge cells with a light gray background. So these two cells must must be filled with light gray background. Format rows 1 to 18 of the spreadsheet to look like this. So here you can see this data, this text is on 2 lines. So we need to increase the height of the row and make sure text wrap is enabled. All these text are right aligned. Right aligned. These are center aligned. And these columns, win adjustment and win acceptable, the text should be wrapped. So you can select these two. Select wrap text. Decrease the width. Increase the height of this row. And make sure all the data are both horizontally and vertically aligned to the center. So click here and this. Now let's give the border. Now make sure 19 to 77 are formatted the same as row 18. So you can see all this data are center aligned. So select all the data. Make sure it is center aligned. Create using cells D18 to D77 a named range called T time. So D18 to D77 is this column. You have to select this and name it as, it should be a named range with the name T time. A named range is a name given to a group of cells so that we can refer the same name in formulas. So right click, define name, and give the name T time. Give OK. Place in your evidence document a screenshot showing the name and the range of the cells. You can take the screenshot while naming, or else you can go to formulas, name manager. The name, all the names will be shown here. Make sure the name is clear and also the range is completely shown. Now you can take the screenshot. This is step 3. You can paste it here. Next, place in cell B4 a formula to display the fastest test time using the named range created in step 3. So in cell B4, we have to show the fastest test time. So the fastest test time will be the least time taken here. So we have to find the minimum value from this. So equal to minimum of, you can use the named range here. Instead of selecting the complete column, you can just give the named range here, minimum of. So the formula would look like this. Next, place in cell B5 a formula to display the slowest test time. So slowest test time will be the time which is more here in this column. So we have to give the max function, the maximum value. So maximum of, you can give the named range again, t time. Place in cell B6 a formula to display the average test time. So again, same way, let's give the average function for the range. Place in cell B7 a formula using the named range created in step 3 to display the average test time for mix number 1. So we have, you can see here mixed numbers, we have different mixed numbers. We need to find the average test time for each mixed number. So for each mix we have to find, so we can use the average if function, average if. So we have to find for each mixed number, so I'll select the range as the mixed number. The criteria will be here for, this is for mix 1, so the criteria will be 1, and the average range is the test time. You can either select or just type the named range here, name of the range here, give OK. So this is the formula. You can just make this absolute so that we can copy this formula for the other cells. Same way we have to find for mix number 2 and mix number 3 in steps 8 and 9. So you can just replicate this formula and we'll change the criteria here. Here it will be 2 and here it will be 3. Tests are only acceptable if there is little or no following wind. Place in cell F18 a replicable formula to check the wind adjustment for this test. If this value is below 10, below 2, you have to display the word yes, otherwise no. So if the wind adjustment, you can see the values for wind adjustment are given. If it's below 2, it should be yes, otherwise no. So we have to use that if function here, if. So the criteria to be checked or the logical test is wind adjustment value if it's less than 2. If it's less than 2, we have to display yes, otherwise no. So otherwise no, you can enter, give OK. So this is the formula. Replicate the formula. Next, place in cell B12 a formula to display the average test time for mix number 1 where the wind is at an acceptable level. So that means we need to find the average test time for mix 1 at an acceptable level. So the acceptable value should be yes, and at the same time we have to make sure it is mix number 1. So I'm going to use the average ifs function. Average ifs where we can give more than one criteria. So first the average range. Average range is the column from which we need to find the average. So we have to find the average of the test time. So this will be the average range. The criteria range 1 is we have to make sure the wind acceptable is yes. So criteria range 1 is this range. I'll make it absolute so that we can replicate the formula here. And criteria 1 is yes, if it is acceptable. So in this range, if it's yes only, the average will be calculated. The next one is for the mix. So the mix number column, you can select, make it absolute, and it will be 1 for this formula. In this cell, it will be for mix number 1. So you can give 1 here, give OK. Now we have to do the same in B13 and B14 for mix number 2 and mix 3. So we can replicate the same formula. Only the criteria should be changed to mix number 2 here and mix number 3 here. Place in cell B15 a formula to display the fuel mix percentage for the fuel mix that gave the fastest wind adjusted average test time. Format this cell to display as the percentage. So you can see the average test time for each mix is given here. So if it is mix 1, if you look at the data, you can see for mix 1, the fuel mix is 3.2. For mix 2, it is 3.4. And for mix 3, it is 3.6. So if the minimum value of this is, if the minimum value is this, then the fuel mix will be 3.2. If it is this one, it should be 3.4 and then 3.6. So we'll be using an if function to check each one of them, which is the minimum of this. So equal to, since there are 3 conditions to be checked, I'm using ifs function. So if minimum of the fastest test time means the least time taken. So the minimum of these 3 values equal to, if it is this one. If it's this one means it is for mix 1. So mix 1's fuel mix percentage is 3.2. So in the value of true, you have to give 3.2 percentage. Now the next checking is the same checking, but we have to check for B13. So the minimum of these 3 is equal to the second value. Mix 2, then it is 3.4 percentage. Same way, if the minimum of these 3 values equal to B14, that is for mix 3, then the fuel percentage is 3.6. So you can give 3.6 percentage. Give OK. So this is the formula. So we are checking the fastest average test time for this selection. If it is from this mix 1, it should be 3.2. If it is mix 2, it should be 3.4 and the other one should be 3.6. And now you can see it is 3.4 because mix 2 has the least value in this. Least value or the fastest test time. Let's format this as percentage. Right click format cells, select percentage, give 1 decimal place, give OK. Format all test times to 4 decimal places. Format cells should be 4 decimal place. Also here we have all these are test times. All these you can select, right click, format cells. It should be 4. Print your spreadsheet showing the formulae. Make sure that printout is in landscape, row and column headings are displayed, and contents are completely visible. So first let's show the formula. Click on formulas, show formulas. Make sure everything is visible. You can just click here and adjust the column width. Now let's go to the print option. You have to set it to landscape. Click on page setup. Again, click on sheet and make it row and select row and column headings so that row and column headings are visible here. If you want, you can make the scaling to fit all columns on one page. So all the data, all the columns will come on one page. So this can be printed. Next, print your spreadsheet showing the values. Make sure printout fits on a single page. Portrait orientation. Row and column headings are not displayed and contents are fully visible. So this is how you print the formula. Now go back. Hide the formula. So again, on formulas, deselect this option. Make sure all the data are completely visible. Now go back to print option again. It should be portrait and the complete data should fit on one page. So click fit sheet on one page. And no need to show the row and column headings. So go to page setup, sheet. Do not show the row and column headings. Give OK. So you can print this. These are the values printout. So this is the end of the spreadsheet task. Next task is web page, which will be done in another video. Thank you for now.